open the meeting at 9:04. And I'd just like to adjourn it as we've got a couple of councillors that are just going to be running a little bit late. So we'll just adjourn until we have the full council back. Thank you. And that we just adjourn the meeting till 9:30. All those in favour? 6-0. Thank you. I'd like to resume the meeting. I'd also like to note that Councillor Davis has just left the room for a little bit, and there's no apologies. So could somebody confirm that the minutes of the ordinary meeting on the 24th of April 2024, please? Councillor Brompton?
I recommend that the minutes of the ordinary meeting held on the 24th of April 2024 be confirmed.
Seconder? Councillor Seawright? All those in favour? 8-0. Moving on to 11.1, consideration of elected members' attendance, TSBE Enterprise Evening and the LGAQ Civic Leaders Forum. Do I have a mover? Councillor?
Madam Mayor, declarations of conflict of interest.
We do them as, have you got a conflict?
Yes, I have.
Oh, okay, sorry.
On this matter?
No.
We do it before the matter?
We should
do it before.
we should probably take that out.
Yeah.
Just got to change the contents page, Councillor Flynn.
Can we move, do we need to move that, to change the context page, take out the declaration of conflict?
No, I don't think so.
No, it's noted that we do it before each item.
Councillor Finn, last time we found that we were doing conflict after conflict, so now we just do the conflicts before the actual, whatever you've got a conflict on.
Before that
Agenda order.
Yeah,
report item.
yeah, before the item. Sorry. We might get rid of that next time.
So I guess we need to change the minutes, is that right?
Change the agenda.
The order.
Change the meeting
Yeah.
agenda.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or note decided that we deal with those matters.
As they come up. Yep. All right. Okay. Councillor O'Neill.
I'm happy to move something, and I know, Mayor, you and I have indicated attending the Civic Leaders Summit. I'm just interested to hear from other councillors whether they've made a decision, whether they too would like to attend or are interested before, and I'll include them in the resolution.
Does anybody else have a desire to go?
Mayor, I'm going to be down in Brisbane on that weekend, so considering I'm going to be down there, I just thought I would actually stay for it and go to that. So.
Okay. So it's Councillor Hancock?
Bruce?
Anyone else?
No?
No?
No.
No? All right, well, I'll move that, that Council 1 endorse the attendance of Mayor Taylor, Councillor O'Neill, Councillor Hancock at the TSBE Enterprise Evening on, it was that as well, Councillor Hancock, the Enterprise Evening as well?
On Monday night, yeah.
On Monday the 20th of May 2024 in Brisbane. And Mayor Taylor, Councillor O'Neill, Councillor Hancock at the LGAQ Civic Leaders Summit on the 21st and 22nd of May 2024 at HOTA, Gold Coast. And 2, draw the required funds from attending individual councillor conference budgets.
Anyone have, can I have a seconder? Councillor Brompton, would you like to speak?
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. Look, the Civic Leaders Forum has been something that a lot of councils have attended over the last terms of council, both councillors here and councillors from other local governments across the state. And it's really highly regarded, particularly in the first year of a new term. It's very much tailored to embedding in the new council around the governance and the practices that will set us up for a really good term ahead. And so I think it's a wonderful opportunity. I personally haven't attended ever before, so I'm looking forward to the opportunity to be able to do that. And I think what we can do is highlight what some of the standouts are in terms of the program, and facilitate something back here as well, and work with the other councillors to tailor something that we can have just for the Maranoa.
Anybody else like to speak? I'd just like to speak. Doing my mayoral training in Brisbane was just such a benefit, and most of those mayors will be at this one as well. Most of them are taking all their councillors, actually. They just think it's that worthwhile. So hopefully we can bring back some positive outcomes from it, and I'm really looking forward to it, because I just think that anywhere we can learn is just amazing, and network. Like, yeah, they're really positive people. So, Councillor Hancock.
May I speak?
Yeah.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I just think that professional development as a councillor is really important. We come to the table with generalist and skill set, and there is not that much opportunity for professional development within our region. So I just think that whenever there is an opportunity to be able to go and get professional development so that you can do your job better, both out in the community and while you sit at this table, if you can make it and you can do it, I think it's something that we should do, because it will only make you a better councillor for the community. And so that's why I think that professional development for
Could you just put your
councillors,
mic over to them?
is essential.
Anybody else like to speak? Would you like to sum up?
Yeah, just briefly, we were talking about the Civic Leaders Forum. I certainly did, but also, and the timing's just perfect to attend the Toowoomba Surat Basin Enterprise evening that's being held at Parliament House, where there'll be businesses that are our businesses across the Surat Basin that'll be in attendance, as well as other local governments. And I think that's really important. We are a member of the Toowoomba Surat Basin Enterprise, and we have been since its inception. And if the feedback was anything to go by, our attendance at the Dalby Forum, and how pleased they were to see Maranoa Regional Council back at the table, particularly from our cousins to the east of us at Western Downs Regional Council. I think the more opportunities we can take to work in and network with our neighbouring shires and the businesses that work in and around our particular region as part of the Surat Basin, that's a good outcome as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we're going to go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. Moving on to 13.1, Surat Water Usage Update 2023-24. Morning. Councillor Hancock?
I have a question.
Yep.
But did the director want to? Did you be happy to have questions straight up? Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Just introducing the overseer for Roo as well, Wayne Wheel. Wayne's got 10 years of experience with us with council, and got a lot of operational knowledge. So I've just asked him to join us.
Thank you. The report is pretty detailed, and so I understand why it is here today. My concern is that I understand the removing Mondays from the watering schedule, but reducing the hours for the rest of the days from 8 hours down to 2 hours. Like, do we have to be that severe? Because I think our community is going to be very shocked at that. With the size of our yards, I don't know if people can potentially even be able to water their whole yard in that time.
Yeah, through the chair, Councillor Hancock, we've just actually it's 2 hours per session, so it'll be 4 hours for the day rather than 8.
But that's not in the report.
That's not in the agenda.
The report says 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. So that's 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour at night.
Okay, my
And
apologies.
it was 8 hours. It was 4 hours in the morning and 4 hours at night.
Yeah, sorry, my apologies. Yes, our intent was to go. It started at 2 hours, but we'd probably like to take it to 4 hours rather than 8 hours. But understand your statement. The current situation is we are over our allocation as is from April now. We're at 352 megalitres. So we do feel that there's some sort of restriction needs to come in place. Monday should get the job done, but we felt that on the other watering days, we'd like to reduce the time of the watering as well, just to make sure that we can actually comfortably come under a certain amount. We've lost a bit of water as well through the water outage from December, January too. So we're talking to the Department of Water about that as well.
And if we haven't had a response from them as of today?
No, not as yet. So the Director of Infrastructure, Seamus, here has just made contact, and we have been talking to him about, look, we have this situation, but look, hopefully they're sympathetic to our request. We've actually asked for an exemption.
So just clarifying, because I'm more comfortable with reducing it, halving it than, to the 4 hours rather than the 2 hours. The report, CEO, the report says 2 hours, but is it the officer's recommendation to do we would have to do, I would like to know what the officer's recommendation is, because otherwise when you move something, you have to do a statement as to why you're not agreeing with the officers, and I'm just a bit confused about the officer's recommendation.
Is it a typo?
I'm through the chair. I was happy to go with the 2 hours, but I'm happy to go to 4 hours if the council wants to extend it out.
We've got to remember it's coming in the winter, that they're not going to water as much from here on in. Like, it's not like we're going into summer, so the 2 hours might be enough. Definitely don't need 8, that's for sure. It's only for watering, it's not for household.
Yeah, Councillor Becker, the reality is we are over. So, look, if council's comfortable to go to 4 hours, we're comfortable with that. I'm happy to amend the recommendation, but it was just our initial thoughts. If we were going to go over, let's go back to 2 hours and let's remove Monday watering from the schedule up to the 1st of July.
Because, like I say, I think it should be a problem because people aren't going to water as much. When we go into the peak times in other towns, we're usually only a pretty small period as well. We're not. Is it because the different watering situation in Surat? Like, say Mitchell might be a couple of hours a day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, whatever. It's never usually 8 hours for sprinklers.
Yeah, it is.
Is it?
Yep.
8 hours.
Yep.
Unless it's desperate times.
No, but you said in other towns though.
Yeah, like just to get a feel.
So in Roma, for example, the watering times are 4 hours in the morning, 4 hours in the afternoon.
To me, I think people, unless they're time poor, as far as covering their lawn, they should be able to get that done in that time, unless they can't be home, that's the only thing.
Through the chair, just to go back to Councillor Hancock's question, Matt, from an officer's point of view, if we were to get up to 4 hours, what would the recommendation look like? Is it 6 till 8?
Correct.
4 till 6? Or
That's correct, CEO.
that sort of thing?
Yep.
So,
That can just be amended.
yeah.
I just got to say, I struggle with the fact that it's 2 hours and now it's 4, just like that. I mean, you must have had some reason for doing the 2 hours. It must be important. I just don't know why you would change your mind.
No, that's right, Councillor. Mayor Taylor, it's a simple fact is that I anticipated we would go over by the time this report was presented, and we have. And so we're at 352 megalitres, which are over our allocation. So I made the recommendation to council that Monday watering would be dropped, and we'd try to basically rein it in as much as we could so that we wouldn't go over, for example, to 400 megalitres. I don't think we're going to. I think the restrictions are enough. I was just concerned that we'd potentially receive a fine if we're over the 300, and we didn't make put our best foot forward to rein the allocation that when it goes over.
Can I ask a question? Given that, Matt, you're saying we're already over, so we're already liable for this penalty. What is it likely to be imposed upon us? And regardless of what move we make today, we're already over. So does the penalty increase the further over we go, or how does that work?
Yeah, Councillor Rumpton, we are over, and there is a likelihood. In the risks I've outlined, that there is a likelihood we could be fined. However, we did have a water outage December, January. We lost 15 megalitres of water. We feel like that's part of our allocation. We did notify the department about that. So we think around 365 is where we should land by the end of the year. We feel that these restrictions in place will help us to get there.
Through the
Councillor.
chairs, sorry. Just the other question to that, with the outage as well, it was what they just essentially returned the water straight back into the system. So that's what Director Seamus, Matt have been talking to the department about. Like, it wasn't as if the allocation wasn't. The whole idea of the allocation is to protect the total volume of water in the system. Essentially, the flushing was straight back into the system. So we're trying to sort of discuss with the department that we feel that we did return that to the network. We have gone over in the past, and the department haven't issued fines, but that would be, wouldn't be appropriate to sort of assume that the precedent has been set and we can just blatantly disregard the allocation. So,
Councillor Hancock?
And Councillor Brumpton did mention it, but is it a sliding scale, the fine? Is the fine a sliding scale, the more, or is it just once you go over that it could be up to that as a penalty? Do we know that?
Through the chair, so talking to Department of Manufacturing, DDRMW, DRDMW.
Regional Development Manufacturing Water.
So the officer indicated verbally that they would consider the Christmas water outage as an exemption. They've asked for daily figures or daily estimates of our flushing use, which we provided. So they've been pretty friendly to us through this. I think I haven't produced the letter for them yet, asking for the exemption. I was waiting until the outcome of this report. It certainly goes a long way when we'll be able to say we had the outage. It used somewhere in the order of 15 megalitres. We've also gone a long way to connecting the bore to that. I think it's at the highway at the moment. And then we've also looked at some restrictions to help us achieve that outcome. I think that's a pretty good story to be able to tell them. In terms like effectively they can fine us for any exceedance of the allocation, but I think there's a fairly good chance we'll get our exemption.
But is that fine? And I think so too. I think we've got a really good case.
Yeah.
But is that fine on a sliding scale of how much you got? Like, does it go up in increments? Is what I'm asking.
Not that I'm aware of. I believe if you go over the allocation, you can be fined.
Righto. So today we're over that allocation. So,
Yes.
And I anyway. I'll wait for the debate. But I understand where we are.
Councillor Vincent?
I was just going to ask, is it possible to, if you're only going to have the 1 hour available in the morning, to slide it through from 7 to 8? Just thinking that it's dark already at 6 o'clock. Leading into June, it's going to be even darker for longer. That 6 to 7 is going to be
Good
nearly...
to catch it before the frost. Water before the frost is better than...
Yes, I'm just thinking of our
I
residents out
yeah.
watering at 6 o'clock in the morning.
I was just wondering if you maybe could do 2 hours in the afternoon, still do 1 hour in the morning, and then say 5 to 7 in the afternoon. I don't know.
I think you're going to, no matter who you're going to, someone's going to be upset who's going to work, not
Yeah.
going to work, old, young.
Yeah.
Can we monitor this? I was just looking at putting in another point in here that like I understand that we're going to start this on the 20th of May, but could we maybe have a report at each council meeting leading up to see if we need or if we need to change it, if we need to regress it again, whether we could do that we could make those changes? I guess it's about that monitoring and being able to reduce it again if we have to.
That's on the assumption you're going to make it bigger now.
That's on the assumption that
You're gonna
my
change
intent
it.
to move for it to halve to the 4 hourly
Yeah.
instead of the 2 hourly.
Just on that, just thinking we've only got till the 30th of June because it's an annual allocation. Is it that we just put something in there that should we not receive the exemption for the 15, we reduce it further? So because time, there's only a very short amount of time, So could we put another point in, should the exemption not be received, we have to then reduce it further to what the initial thing was with the 1 hour morning and afternoon? Is that a way?
coming back.
Save coming back, because time is of the essence, obviously. We've only got to the 30th of June anyway, rather than things coming back and forth to council. Because obviously if you get the 15 megalitre allowance, it's going to buy you the time for the difference.
We, the timing for watering across the region outside of Surat, I can't remember what we do for winter, but we do change the time everywhere else because of what Councillor Vincent raised. So not too many people will be watering using the raw water between 6 and 7 when we're getting frosts in June. So the time, if you are looking for them to be able to water in the morning, it should be starting at 7 and going through till 9 or 7 till 8 if you wanted it, as the Mayor said, to have 1 hour in the morning, but 6 a.m. too early. Because that's been the feedback from a lot of the older residents with our watering restrictions in the past across the rest of the region, that they're not watering in that time anyway.
I do remember this debate very much, and Officer Wayne will remember as well, in our community about times, and you will remember as well. And so the times where it's, that 6 to 10, and for the winter times, that it's on page 30th, that has previously been, was highly debated back then for the community, and the community has been quite happy with that. But I do
They'll be
take
happy
your
at the
point.
10 o'clock, not happy at the 6 o'clock.
Yeah, I do take your point. It could be 7 to 9 or 7 to 8.
Once again, there's so many different demographics. Like there's people who've got to go
Go
to
to
work.
work.
Yeah.
And if they get home at 5 o'clock, it's going to be dark then too. Like at winter time, they don't need that watering every day. Like I think the condition of the year.
And it's like Councillor Brompton said, it's till the end of June. So we got, 5 weeks, 6 weeks? Is that it?
Correct.
Yeah.
5 waters.
And
Really?
through the Mayor, probably councillors just, it is a short period of time, so if you're in the community's perspective, 2 changes between now and 30 June, just got to weigh up whether that's sound or whether we would prefer just to try and essentially the whole purpose of this is so we can go to the department to say, this is the situation. We've already had the discussions. This is the situation we're in. Here's how we're working to deal with it in the future with the bore, etc. But the council is also introducing water restrictions. Whether it's 2 hours or 3 hours, I don't actually think it's the actual act of introducing the water restrictions that we can go to the department. So we're trying to proactively manage it. We're not just sitting there letting our community continue to use their current usage. But yeah, I just want to more flag that the sliding one, trying to be open, transparent, get on top of the media communication of that. It might look quite reactive over that short period of time. So.
That is true, yeah. And at the end of the day, as the officer has said, we're over now. So if they're going to fine us, we're going to get the fine now anyway. And yes, we still should be acting responsibly and trying to conserve water. So yeah.
So based on that, going from 8 hours a day on those watering days to 4 hours, we're halving it plus removing a Monday. That's a significant decrease rather than going down to only the 2 hours. So it would seem more appropriate, and you would think the department would be happy if we've totally removed Monday and then halved the other watering days. That's a significant decrease.
Councillor
Is
Burkett.
that counting handheld? Yeah, like when it's water restrictions, can't have a sprinkler, but if someone's got the time to sit out there all day, potentially they can.
Look, I think that the raw water is operated off the pumps, so they wouldn't be able to do that anyway, unless they're going to use the treated water, which you will, even if you put restrictions on, our experience in the past is those who still really want to water will just use the treated water.
Yeah.
But in saying that, they have to pay for that per kilolitre, whereas it's a one fee for the raw water twice a year, 6 monthly fee. So
So the pumps will be shut off, so regardless they can't accidentally leave a hose on. Yeah, that's good.
Anybody got any more questions? Director's got anything else? You good?
I'll just, through you, Madam Mayor, I guess long term, council would like a bit of an operational lever here rather than wait to come to council. Long term, it's just my open and honest opinion that this has happened in the past, so we'd like somehow some operational lever in the future where we could just put some sort of restriction on, so we can catch it in, say, February. We're up high, we're projected to go over. Is there something that we could do to do that immediately? That's all I would say about that.
Could I just say something? Just through the chair. I think it's something that council could look at. I honestly think that the 3 days per week is enough for the watering when we're on our normal watering schedule, which is 8 hours a day for 3 days a week. I think that council could look at removing Monday watering on a permanent basis, and I think that it'll stop this from happening down the track. I mean, because we are bringing more and more stuff online that we do have to water, things like the lawn cemetery, for instance, so council is going to use more water as well. We're in a pretty unique little town where there's actually 7 parks, a recreation oval, a Wurroo sporting complex that are all under irrigation there, and I would nearly think that council is probably using possibly a third of our allocation, keeping the town beautified as well. So I just think that with more and more watering coming on all the time, that if we were to remove that Monday watering right throughout the year, because I don't water on Mondays at home, and my lawns they're fine. It's people use it because it's there, it's on, so they just adjust their stuff.
I think we just got to be a bit more water-wise in general all around, and that'd help too. Like, people do take it for granted, I think.
Yeah, they do, and a lot of the trouble comes from council. To save pressure for the rest of the town, we do all our watering at night. There's another session that goes from 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. and that's what we've got all of our sprinklers set on for the parks. But the trouble is with that is the people put their raw water on, and as I say, it operates off the pumps and they don't go and turn them off. So they water that extra 4-hour session as well. And that's where we start to see the water running down the drains and that sort of stuff of a morning, which is not a good look. I don't know how you educate them enough to stop all that from happening, but yeah, we have tried in the past.
And through the chair, we've Seamus and I, we've got and the water sewage gas manager, we've got a project there to put some smart meters in, and we'd like to actually monitor our own raw water usage, just so we know in effect what we're using, and we can adjust it throughout the year. We can adjust our own watering. Then it's a potential we could scale back what we're using and might be able to actually come under the 350 megalitre anyway. So that's in the capital works project for next year as well.
Okay, has anybody got any more questions? Councillor Hancock, are you moving?
Yes, happy to. I move that Council 1 receive and note the report in relation to the Surat water consumption. 2, note the intent to issue a final water conservation message for May 2024. 3, approve a restriction removing all watering for Mondays and reducing the hours of access. I'm just adding that in because it wasn't being open to everybody. We actually are not, we are. So I'm just I will need some wording there.
Yeah.
And reduce the hours of access on, I want to say on the rest of the days, but I need to get that better. On the following schedule. Thanks, Councillor Burkett. Commencing Monday, 20 May 2024, with the new water schedule proposed is as follows. Wednesday, Friday and Sunday east may water 7 to 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. And Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday west may water 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. 4, inform the Surat community of the restriction through a letterbox drop. 5, authorise the lifting of these restrictions on 1st July 2024. Oh, can I add, authorise the lifting of these restrictions 1st July 2024 and a report be brought back to council with suggested watering times for the future. So then we can have a look at that Monday.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor O'Neill, would you like to speak, Councillor Hancock?
Thank you. Madam Mayor, the watering schedule in Surat has always been a delicate situation of trying to get it right, because we have our own system of the raw water, and you know, we've had all this rain recently and there's water in the river, and people look at that and they go, well, why are we having water restrictions? And they don't understand the allocation. And so it is about educating our community about the allocation that is involved. I just feel to go from giving them 8 hours plus a day to take off a whole day and then reduce it is just too severe, because in my opinion we should have told them this earlier. We should have probably have gone to them earlier and been reducing it at an earlier situation. So I think that at the end of the day we're over as it is. So I think we have a good case to go to the department, and if that comes through for us, that'll be great. We're still demonstrating that we are being water, conserving water, and so we are taking on that responsibility. We've got the board that we've got to connect. I think we can get a handle on this in the future. I think that this has just happened because of many different reasons. So for me, reducing it to the times that I've put up in the recommendation, I think is a fair thing for our community, rather than to go so harsh so quickly for them. In the conservation message, I think we need to be clear. We do need to really encourage our community to conserve water and to only water in their allocated watering spots. And conserving water is everybody's business, not just council business. So I think, some of our messaging could be maybe a little bit stronger on that. But I think that I will look forward to the day where the bore is connected and we can get the sweet spot with the watering schedule for Surat, and look forward to not having to go over allocation again. So, and thank you to the officers for bringing the report today.
Could I just ask, with the letterbox drop, what exactly do you say, apart from the hours? Like, do you let them know the reason why we're doing what we do?
Page 34
Oh,
is
sorry.
the one that went out. So I think that...
Sorry, I missed that.
Through you, Mayor, though, the plan would be to be quite open, transparent. Like this is what it is. It's the environment we're working in. Council's got an allocation. This is where we're up to, and we need to, as a group, pull together to just to help minimise that usage now. So,
I have another question, if the Mayor wouldn't mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just made me think about that. Also within our communication, have we been using? We put a sign up so that the community could see where our water allocation was. It's down on the water sewage plant, the water treatment plant. Have we been using that sign so that the community knows where they are? And if we have we been telling our community about it? So I think that that's a really good thing. Maybe it's a question of, is it in the right spot so that our community can see it? And is it being used, and do they know about it?
yeah, thanks, Councillor. Point taken.
Would anyone else like to speak? Got to go to the vote? All those in favour? 8-0. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks very much, Councillor.
Thank you. Good to see you at the table, Wayne.
Good morning.
Morning.
14.1, applications to Regional Arts Development Fund RADF Program 2023-24. Councillor Seawright.
I'd like to declare a conflict of interest on item 14.1, description applications through the Regional Arts Development Fund 2023-24. Declaring councillor is myself, Particular interest, I am the president of the Wallumbilla Show Society. It's a prescribed conflict of interest, so I would like to leave the room while the matter is discussed and voted on.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else have a conflict? Okay. Keep going. Yep. Councillor Seawright has left the room. Councillor Hancock.
I move that Council 1 endorse the RADF Committee's grant assessment recommendations in supporting the following application. 1. Creative in June for $997 as received in the application on the 17th of April 2024. 2. Endorse the RADF Committee's grant assessment recommendations in not supporting the following application. 1. Wallumbilla Agricultural and Pastoral Association Incorporated for $1,089 as received in the application on the 21st of April 2024. CEO, just a question. I'm obviously going to speak to this, which will explain some stuff, but I just acknowledge that our meeting minutes go out. I'm wondering, would it be appropriate to put the reason why the grant assessment has not recommended in for the Wallumbilla Agricultural Pastoral Association in the actual resolution, just to be open and transparent for that.
Yeah, through the chair, not an issue, like explaining the reasons behind that, and obviously just trying to find the piece in the report that.
Oh, maybe I found it actually, CEO. Maybe we can just go as received in the application on the 21st. Endorse the RADF Committee's grant assessment and recommendations in not supporting the following application due to the time limits of when the application was received and the start date of the project.
Yep.
That's fine. I think that's.
Do we have a seconder? Councillor Vincent, would you like to speak?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Once again, the RADF committee is working really hard, and it's great to see these applications are coming in and being assessed. We don't just assess them as we get together face to face. We try and assess these as soon as they come in via email as well, and then get together to be able to put up a recommendation for the council. So I'm very excited about being able to support the Creative in June's project. I'm really disappointed that we couldn't support the Wallumbilla Agricultural and Pastoral Association project. It was a fantastic project. It is absolutely only because of the timing. The application came in and there wasn't another council meeting to be able to put it to, and the council has to endorse the expenditure of the RADF grant. So the only reason that we couldn't support that grant was because there just wasn't enough time to get it to today's council meeting was after the event. And so I'm really disappointed about that, but would encourage the Wallumbilla Agricultural and Pastoral Association to reapply in the future for other projects. And that's all I have to say on that.
I assume, Tanil, you would have relayed that to them. They understand all that, don't they?
Yes, yes, they were very understanding, and they do apologise that
just
the
a time
time
issue.
was
Yep.
just too short.
Yeah, okay, thanks, Tom.
Because as a committee, we do everything we possibly can,
Yeah.
even if it's under the 6 weeks. Like if it had been just a little bit more time, if we had have had a council meeting,
Yeah.
we would have been able to make it work for them.
That's
So
right.
we really want us to be able to support this, but we just couldn't.
Yeah. Would anyone else like to speak? Okay, we're going to go, you got nothing, Tanil? No, okay. Going to go to the vote. All those in favour? 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanil.
Thank you, guys.
Someone like to move, we go into close? Councillor O'Neill?
Are there any conflicts? No one's got conflicts on.
I have a conflict on item 1.
Okay. You want to do that?
We will do it
Oh, we
before
will.
we
Before
go
we
into
go into
closed,
close,
yeah.
yeah.
Councillors, Councillor Davis also has a conflict, so maybe we'll just have to manage that if Councillor Davis returns. It is item C1. So
Let's come back out of closed
when she comes back. Yeah.
Yeah.
So contrary to what we said before, we'll ask you to do your conflict.
Okay. Report item C1, Roma Country Music Festival, 29th, 30th of November. My name is Peter Flynn. I have an interest in an event in the Roma area with my family, with Easter in the country, and I believe that a declarable conflicts of interest, and although I have a declarable conflict of interest, I do not believe a reasonable person could have a perception of bias. Therefore, I will choose to remain in the meeting. However, I'll respect the decision of the meeting on whether I can remain and participate in the decision.
Anybody got some words?
No, I'm happy to move. Councillor Flynn, just so I'm clear, you're declaring an interest because of yours and your family's association with Easter in the country. Is that right?
Yep.
In relating to this event, because they're two big events. Is that what you're...
Your question again, sorry?
I'm happy, I'm going to move that you don't have a conflict of what you've shared, but I'm just trying to understand what your conflict is. That because you're involved with Easter in the
I'm
country...
an executive member of the committee at the moment.
Of Easter in the country, okay. All right, I'll move that... thanks, Cal. I'll move that it is in the public interest that Councillor Flynn participates and votes on agenda item C1 because a reasonable person would trust that the decision is made in the public interest.
Have a seconder, Councillor Burkett. All those in favour? What's that, 6-0? 7-0, 7-0, sorry. Okay. Moving into closed.
Yep. So I'll move that in accordance with the provisions of section 254J3 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, the council resolved to close the meeting to the public to discuss confidential items that its councillors consider as necessary to close the meeting. In accordance with section 254J5 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, the following table provides the matters to be discussed, an overview of what is to be discussed while the meeting is closed. C1 Roma Country Music Festival, 29 and 30th of November 2024. C2 lease of Paddock 9 Dargle Road, Roma. C3 purchase of property 103 Alice Street, Mitchell. C4 proposed community safety fees and charges for the 24-25 financial year. C5 sundry debtors write-off report. C6 recruitment of Chief Executive Officer update recruitment documentation.
Okay. Have a seconder? Okay, so have a seconder, Councillor Brompton. All those in favour? Close the meeting. 8-0, sorry. So we have Councillor Davis back in the room, and you have a declaring a conflict of interest on C1?
Yes, I'd like to declare a conflict of interest on item C1, the Roma Country Music Festival. The declaring councillor is Amber Davis, myself. The person with the interest is myself, Amber Davis, and my husband, Wayne Davis. The particulars of the interest is that myself, Amber Davis, and my husband, Wayne Davis, own and operate Bessie's Ice Cream Bus. There is a possibility we may apply to trade at this event. It is a declarable conflict of interest. Although I have a declarable conflict of interest, I do not believe a reasonable person could have the perception of bias. Therefore, I will choose to remain in the meeting. However, I will respect the decision of the meeting on whether I can remain and participate in the discussion.
Councillor O'Neill.
I'll move that it is in the public interest that Councillor Davis participates and votes on agenda item C1 because a reasonable person would trust that the decision is made in the public interest.
Second, Councillor Vincent. All those in favour? You got your hand up?
Yeah, I had.
Oh, sorry. 8-0. Thank you.
I'll move we go into closed.
Thank you.
Second that, Councillor Burkett. All those in favour? 9-0.
Sorry, Greg.
go on with the closed agenda. C1, Roma Country Music Festival, 29-30 November 2024. Councillor O'Neill.
Move that this lay on the table until a future council meeting to allow for a councillor briefing on this matter prior to its return.
Have a seconder?
You don't need a second.
Oh, yeah,
Sorry?
on the table.
I'm just
Oh,
laying it on
don't
the
need
table.
one? Just vote.
Yeah.
All those in favour? 9-0. C2, lease of paddock 9 Dargle Road, Roma. Councillor Vincent.
I move that Council select Leander and Ronald Walsh as recommended tenderer for tender 24063, lease of paddock 9 Dargle Road, Roma. 2, delegate authority to Chief Executive Officer to enter into final negotiations with the successful applicant and execute the grazing agreement for the term of the licence for 2 years if the terms are acceptable. 3, Council retains the right to terminate the lease within 3 months' notice to the leasee.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Seawright. Would you like to speak?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Nobody like to speak? All good? Going to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. C3, purchase of property 103 Alice Street, Mitchell. Councillor Burkett.
I'd like to move the Council 1 note that this report actions Council Resolution number OM/12/2023/98 to receive and note the officer's report as presented. 3, to decline the proposed.
Should we?
You need the first bit.
Because
The
we're
bit that
repealing.
you're
Oh,
appealing.
sorry.
it.
That
Yeah.
council repeal.
Yeah, sorry, I missed that. Start again. The Council repeal resolution number OM/01.2024/84 and replace with 1, note that this report actions Council resolution number OM/12.2023/98. 2, receive and note the officer's report as presented. 3, decline the proposed purchase of 103 Alice Street, Mitchell, due to the lot being registered on the Environmental Management Register.
Seconder. Councillor Davis. Would you like to speak, Councillor Burkett? Anybody like to speak? Going to go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. C4, proposed community safety fees and charges for the 2024-25 financial year. Councillor Crumpton.
I move that Council 1 adopt the community safety fees and charges for the 2024-25 financial year with a 3.6% CPI increase, rounded to the nearest 5 cents, excluding the following categories where no increase will apply: adoption from pound, animal surrender fees, pet ID tags, application fee keeping of excess dogs, menacing dog, dangerous dog, complaint menacing dog, complaint dangerous dog, replacement tag, dog and cat impounding release fees. And 2, apply these charges to the 2024-25 animal registration renewal notices to be issued 1st of June 2024.
Do I have a seconder?
Be 1st of July,
Oh, 1st of July.
should it be?
No, I think it's June in the,
Oh, because it's going out,
Yeah.
sorry.
Do I have a
Be
seconder?
issued.
Councillor O'Neill.
And it was compliant menacing and compliant dangerous dog. Councillor Brupton, that's what you meant.
I did. Yes.
Oh, is that what you said?
Yeah, I thought,
Oh,
did,
right. Yeah, no, that's good.
did I say compliant?
No, it's a.
Or did I say complaint?
Complaint, yeah.
Sorry, apologies.
That's all right.
I meant compliant.
Would you like to speak?
Yes, I'll speak to this. Council has considered this and considered a CPI increase was quite suitable for this financial year, noticing that the CPI has decreased recently, so we think we've been quite reasonable with our charges, and also taking the officer's recommendations about some of the fees not to be increased to allow compliance matters.
Anybody else like to speak? Councillor O'Neill.
I'll speak. I'm happy to second this. I mean, these are necessary fees and charges for council to administer, the animal side of the business, and when you apply the 3.6% to the current fees and charges, it is a very minor increase in dollar value. But it also recognises that from a council perspective, the cost of being able to administer these things are increasing as well. And so that's why we're only passing on a CPI increase to these fees and charges. So I'm happy to support it.
Anybody else like to speak? Would you like to sum up, councillor?
No.
Okay, going to go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0.
Madam Mayor, do we have to show a statement of reason? Because we've half taken an officer's recommendation, but we've changed it. It could be as simple as due to, yeah.
A statement of reason is we've applied the current CPI to the increase to this particular categories of our fees and charges.
Everyone happy with that?
Due to the cost of living.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll move on to C5, Sundry Debtors Write-Off Report. Do I have a mover?
Move,
Councillor
Madam Mayor,
Flynn.
that council receive and note the officer's report as presented.
Seconder? Councillor Burkett. Anyone like to speak? Going to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. C6, recruitment of the Chief Executive Officer update recruitment documentation. Councillor O'Neill.
I'll move the council authorise the Chief Executive Officer, Acting and Mayor to approve the final recruitment package for the Chief Executive Officer subject to consultation with all councillors.
I have a seconder, Councillor Davis. Anyone like to speak?
I'm happy to speak. This resolution ensures that we are progressing in a timely manner to start advertising and recruiting for a Chief Executive Officer in a permanent capacity. We've still got some work to do this week in relation to what that final recruitment package looks like, but this will ensure that we can start advertising this week.
Anybody else like to speak? Going to go to the vote? All those in favour? 9-0. Does anybody have any more business?
Mayor, may I ask you to adjourn the meeting, please?
You want me to adjourn the meeting? Yep, happy to adjourn the meeting. So we're actually going to go back to 13.1.
Yeah, Madam Mayor, I just realised that we forgot to do a statement of reason for 13.1.
Which is Surat Water Usage Update 2023-24. So would you like to state the reason?
Yes, thank you. Statement of reason is decision based on community expectation while acknowledging that council needed to take proactive steps to mitigate water usage up until 30 June 2024.
Thank you, councillor. Okay, so if there's no further business, going to close the meeting at 12:31. Thank you.